Germany took Austria, the Sudetenland and Memel without firing a single shot. So why did they throw it all away for Poland? In the lead-up to the Second World War, Germany was on an expansion spree. As you'll be aware, it was the demands for Danzig and surrounding lands from Poland that ultimately led to the outbreak of war. However, had German leaders simply stopped after obtaining all their other territorial gains, Germany would have been in a far stronger position than it had been just 3 years earlier. Its population had grown by over 10 million, its economy and industry were larger, and its military was free from the restrictions of the Treaty of Versailles. This raises the question: why didn't the Germans just stop there? Why risk a war by demanding even more? The aftermath of World War I. In the aftermath of Germany's defeat in WWI, the nation lost significant territory. For a long time, Germans wanted it back. Many felt aggrieved by the harsh terms of the Treaty of Versailles. The new Republican government, the Weimar Republic, was unstable and, combined with a terrible economy, loss of international prestige, and the stigma of being blamed for the war, political extremism took root. As you'll be aware, the man with the toothbrush mustache, whom I cannot name directly due to YouTube policies, rose to power. After winning numerous elections, he was appointed German Chancellor. He had promised the German people to ignore the Versailles diktats, fix the economy, and expand Germany's borders to incorporate all German-speaking peoples in Europe. After a suspicious fire and legislative shenanigans in 1933, followed by President Paul von Hindenburg's death in 1934, Germany was firmly under new management. Undoing Versailles. Early steps. The new leaders were keen to undo Versailles, but initially this had to be done discreetly. Rearmament. Previous Weimar governments had already been lax in upholding Versailles. In 1935, after pressuring Britain and France, Germany was granted a referendum in the Saarland. Reunification with Germany won overwhelmingly, providing a major propaganda boost. Conscription and Navy. The new Chancellor openly declared the reconstitution of the army and small-scale conscription, both banned under Versailles. France was outraged, but the numbers were too small to justify war. Similarly, when Britain learned Germany was building submarines again, it chose diplomacy over war, signing the Anglo-German Naval Agreement, limiting the German Navy to 1/3 of the Royal Navy, without consulting France, the US, or Italy. This drove a wedge between Britain and the other Versailles signatories. The Rhineland, 1936. When Germany announced the remilitarization of the Rhineland, the growing political distance between Britain and France became obvious. Many in France wanted to send in their much larger army, but France's economy was struggling. Britain didn't see it as vital to its own security. The public in both nations opposed war. The French military refused to fight alone. France stood by and let it happen. Another propaganda victory for Germany. Austria, 1938. By 1938, Austria was a mess, plagued by political violence. The Austrian Chancellor, Kurt Schuschnigg, had repressed those pushing for union with Germany. The German leader demanded that stop, threatening invasion. Schuschnigg scheduled a referendum to show Austrians didn't want union, but he planned to exclude his opponents. Germany mobilized its army along the border, demanded Schuschnigg resign, and marched into Austria the day before the referendum. Berlin declared annexation, later confirmed by a rigged referendum. The Western powers did nothing. Britain saw it as a fait accompli. France grumbled but wouldn't fight alone. Only Mexico complained, denouncing the annexation as a violation of Austrian sovereignty. The Sudetenland, Czechoslovakia 1938–1939. After Austria, the largest group of Germans outside Germany lived in the Sudetenland, inside Czechoslovakia. With Berlin's backing, the Sudeten German Party made impossible demands. Edvard Beneš, the Czechoslovak president, hoped the Western powers would help, but no. Britain offered to mediate by telling the Czechs to give in. When border clashes intensified, Britain and France called a conference with Germany and Italy. They agreed Czechoslovakia should cede the Sudetenland. Prague, realizing it was alone, reluctantly agreed on the promise that Germany would stop expanding. That promise lasted about 5 seconds. Through treaties and ultimatums, Czechoslovakia was picked apart. Slovakia declared independence as a German puppet state, and Germany invaded the remaining Czech lands, creating the Protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia. Germany gained a large industrial base, labourers, taxpayers, and potential conscripts. Memel 1939. While all this was happening, Germany pressured Lithuania to return Memel, lost in 1919. The Lithuanians pretended the problem didn't exist, hoping it would go away. Germany issued an ultimatum. Lithuania accepted, knowing the Western powers wouldn't risk war for them. So why didn't Germany stop? In 4 short years, Germany had transformed itself. Had it stopped there, the Allies would have had little reason to start a war. So why continue? 1. Perceived weakness of Britain and France. Their responses had been those of acquiescence and appeasement. German political thought concluded they would not suddenly grow a backbone. If they didn't fight over the Rhineland, Austria or Czechoslovakia, they wouldn't fight over Poland. 2. The Danzig Gambit. Germany initially demanded Danzig and road, rail links to it, plus Polish membership in the Anti-Comintern Pact. Poland refused because Danzig was vital for Polish trade. Losing it would end economic independence. The Warsaw government feared riots if they surrendered the city. Technically, Danzig was a League of Nations mandate, not fully part of Poland. 3. Ideology, Lebensraum and hegemony. While Danzig was important, what German leaders truly wanted was the end of Poland and the incorporation of its lands as Lebensraum, living space, for Germans. Their ideology emphasized expansion, military glory, and domination of Europe. They sabotaged negotiations with Poland to make a peaceful resolution impossible. 4. The Nazi-Soviet Pact. Germany signed a treaty of friendship with the USSR, including secret clauses dividing Eastern Europe. With 2 great powers seemingly aligned, Berlin was convinced London and Paris would never risk war over Poland. The miscalculation. The German plan was a surprise invasion of Poland so quick that even if Britain and France wanted to help, it would be over before they could act. The Berlin government was 100% convinced neither would do anything. Of course, when German troops crossed the border on the 1st of September 1939, that assumption was proven wrong, leading not only to the loss of Germany's recent gains, but to far greater losses.